Okay, so this should be familiar to some of you. This is a little something for Spooptober that I wanted to do. I have an admin of Active Worlds leading me around to show me the various things that I missed 3 years ago. More than 3 years ago now. And this is being recorded. It's not live, just so the server doesn't get flooded. But many of you will remember several years ago I did an Active World stream and ran into someone, and it turned into a bit of a meme video. But more than that, it was really interesting to see these like old abandoned worlds that people used to chat in and spent all this time, you know, creating these massive structures and all these really intricate details, and then they just get abandoned. And, well, Garrick still runs the server. Garrick is still here, and Garrick shows up every now and then, and I'm gonna get a guided tour. Controls are really awkward, so if it looks clunky, it is. Oh, I think he's doing a thing. Into the hell where all players came upon death in game. That sounds relatively interesting. Hall of the Ice Panther, the younger of the two lords of the Moon Cult. Oh, we're going full RP. This dude knows what he's doing. Let's make it clear, Garrick is not an AI. Garrick is a real person, I think. The hell is all this shit? Speaking of real people, I don't know if these are actual players that have a little storyline. These objects were built April 21st, 2007. Interesting. Personally, I was chatting with people in Half-Life mods. Those were my online chat rooms. This is the main landing area, although not the one used in the most recent games here. It's redesigned every year to satisfy my creative needs. When he contacted me a while back to do a tour of Active Worlds again, I thought it might help dispel some of the, forgive the pun, myths that were built up last time I streamed this. I didn't mean to disrupt the ecosystem of Active Worlds when I did that, but apparently after I did the exploration in 2016 and the Hitomi Fujiko thing became a meme, it even made it to a Swedish radio show, if I'm not mistaken, and the video really blew up. A lot of tourists showed up, you know, play around and RP and quote the video, and if I'm not mistaken, there were some folks were pretty upset. And to further dispel the myth of 2016, I did think it was an AI at first. Pretty quickly I learned that it was actually a person that was leading me around through AW myths, and I just went along with it because it was fun. Still creepy. In 2007, the dude was here. Just kind of still holding on to this. It's kind of a tragedy in some ways. It's like when you have that group of friends that you grew up with, or you finally meet people online or whatever, and then slowly people move on, whether they get jobs or, you know, have kids, or just kind of move on and go elsewhere in life. Vampires lived in a cave system to the far east. I'm not really sure the people that are still devoted to this game, how they use it, and I respect that kind of thing because it's something that they enjoy, it's something that brings them happiness in some way. In the latest version of the GM bot, players could drink other races' blood to change their race. Wow, that's commitment. I'll tell you what I have memorized. The gorilla sucking on the taco. I know where it is. I know how to show it to you if I need to, on a moment's notice. That's it. The Pylosia volcano, birthplace of the Drow race. Okay, maybe I'll just follow him. So there's a bunch of lore here. This was a mini quest with a boon at the end and told a bit of history and lore of the Drows. I'm not sure if he was the admin when I visited this place years ago. Also, confirmed he is not Hitomi Fujiko. Kinda like this place. I like the architecture, as simple as it may be. Mount Lian. That's the name of this place, apparently. A little pet project of my co-creator Ryan that was way out where no one ever went. So that's what this place is. Again, you have to imagine that someone poured their, you know, their lives, or several people poured their lives into this thing. And how many people saw it? A couple? Which is why I am fascinated by this stuff, even though I don't do it often. Virtual archaeology. It's still very interesting. There's a working clock tower here. That is the correct time. That still works. Mount Eden, home of the werewolves and Christmas celebrations. Ah yes. Definitely two things I always picture together. Physics manipulation for ice skating. And yes, that is the Macarena. Nothing is scarier than the Macarena. This is a true horror stream. Vacant, furnished. This place is for sale, I guess. I'm sure this place is just prime real estate in front of the ice skating rink and the Macarena dude, but everything else here is just perfect. It's a coliseum of some sort. Kind of reminds me of Pompeii. Here's another little mini quest, apparently. I'm being told that this is a bad idea. I'm really being serious, though. This is a poisonous and deadly alchemy lab. At this point, you are either authorized personnel or incredibly mentally ill. Oh dear lord, okay. Hell of a sign you got there. Either way, touch the sign to proceed into the real alchemy lab. I don't think you're a real alchemist. In fact, I think you lied to me as you walked through all those doors. What the fuck? Floating. We're apparently underwater, and even Garrick doesn't know why. I have absolutely no idea how to do any of these quests that I made myself. What the hell? Endurance in the virtual space. I guess I have to climb some of this stuff. I don't know how to jump. Okay. Shit. The true horror is platforming in active worlds. That is the scariest thing. Fucking dragons? The Eastern Dragon Empire. In this game, the dragons spoke. These dragons worshipped gods. This is a whole world. This is like years of this dude's life, and several other people. They built enough lore for a book. It's kind of mind-blowing, if you think about it. Royal Nest of the Elder Female. Dragonborn characters in 2007, preceding Elder Scrolls Skyrim. 2007, however, is the Elven Year of the Lord. Dragonborn characters preceding Skyrim. Huh. As a player built home, although I suppose now it's haunted. I forgot that mirrors were a thing. Yeah, that caught me off guard. Whoa. Oh, that is a weird mirror. So, Garrick says again, this was someone's virtual house. Now abandoned. I wonder what that person's life is like at this point. I wonder if that person has a job. A family. I wonder if they even play video games anymore. It's another player's house. June 6th, 2009. Over 10 years ago, this house was created. Even then, it was still kind of past the prime of active worlds, if you think about it. The fuck? She chose a non-solid door. As you can see, some people may get crazy in their homes. Clearly. I've never seen what you're seeing right now until right now. Is what Garrick just said. Concerning those horses. This house has a little zone that lets you see the entire land. Oh, that's something I would like to see. What the hell? I wonder if in, let's say, 30 years from now, you take the people that made these houses and you show them and say, hey, you made this. This is your thing from 40 years ago. I wonder what kind of reactions, what kind of emotions, what kind of memories that would elicit. Because that is something that I think about. I have some Warcraft 3 maps that I made that if I saw them again, I would feel that way. Same for my Half-Life maps. It sadly never went anywhere, and if I could find those maps, if I ever would have been able to play them again, it would have been kind of amazing. The closest thing I have is my old RPG that I made. Both of them, actually. Stuff from 20 years ago. And yeah, it's weird. And also, kinda sucks. But, you know, it sucks, but they're good sucks. They're my sucks. You feel helpless as the sword is lodged too far deep into the bone to remove it to save the horse, but the sword appears to serve as the key to the next room. Teenage angst mood with this one, I have no explanations. This place is fucking massive. Garrick just said, I built these so well that I have no idea how they work anymore and I keep dying. Creator proof. There's a lot of things that appear important, and then you get to them and nothing happens. Just like real life. There's lore all over the place. Its beauty will be its end, it says. He tried to control the heavens and the earth. In the end, he controlled nothing more than his own grave. His greed killed him. The sun was much more violent today. You could see large lashing of fire spewing from its surface. We wonder if it's the end. This does not look like heaven. This is not the heaven that was in my mind. There's a bit of storyline based on the Harpy's rune, which was in here, according to Garrick. Okay, if you click on the cylinders... Oh, weird. Okay, you get a cutscene of some kind. It's a cutscene courtesy of his co-creator Ryan. It's an unused story. Very interesting. No idea what we were going to use it for, he says. Who is this? This GM person. There's a bio here too. It's just an empty bio for some. I guess this is the GM, the game master, grandmaster. I don't know. That's the bot, the program that runs the commands for the game. Oh, bots in AW appear with brackets around their name. Well, that would have helped 3 years ago. That would have solved that problem. By the end of it, I programmed more Sims-like features like child adoption, pet adoption, horses you could ride, credit cards, banking systems. Why not move to a different game? Why the attachment to this one? Genuinely curious. It's my own creation. My own teenage creation that came right as I was peaking, says Garrick. I think I understand. It's that connection, that not wanting to let go. It's the same reason why I have a hard time getting rid of stuff that I grew up with. And I just have... I wouldn't say I'm a hoarder, but I definitely have way too many things that have no use in my life whatsoever. Yet, there's some kind of emotional attachment or some memory associated with it. This game is also like my inner mind palace, says Garrick. Like my own personal mind palace where I can go and literally do anything, he says. For example, you can now fly. Wow. I can now fly. There's so much to this. Yeah, this is a very extensive amount of building. And I understand what Garrick means by having his own place. I mean, in some ways that was why I made Half-Life maps. In some ways, when I played online games, it was a kind of a similar thing, but I guess now my stream is my way to do what I need to do and enjoy that freedom to stream whatever I want, talk about stuff, play music. It's really, you know, it brings me that kind of same sense of, I guess, enjoyment. Maybe in a different way, but you get what I mean. Change the color of the sky and paint with all the colors of the wind, Garrick just said. Oh my. Something kind of beautiful about this sentiment. I think I get it. And even though he only gets 1 or 2 visitors per day, if that, there's got to be something gratifying about anyone visiting the world and exploring and checking it out for a bit. Hell, I'd want to show off all the stuff I made. Just so happens this has been a work in progress for, you know, over a dozen years. That's about all the oldest sites of the world, at least the ones on my teleport list. What will you do now? With world admin privileges, I can literally fly through the mountains and try to find more old quests, he says. The server is running as long as Active World Inc. still maintains them, which seems to be infinitely. Do you get visitors often? There's surprisingly like 3 to 4 avatars a day that chat with me if I leave myself AFK here and go to work. Random people who are never seen again. I was one of those random people, and I wouldn't have been back unless you reached out. The only difference is I have an audience. Hopefully they'll enjoy this and maybe even come say hi. Thanks, Garrick, for the tour. I wish you well. Godspeed, Garrick. You go fly through that mountain. Well, thank you, everybody that watched this special revisit for Active Worlds. It definitely still is creepy, though less creepy when you know what's going on. And I hope you enjoyed watching on some level. So please, think about the things that you used to do when you were younger. Think about all those weird places that you went to, all those people that you chatted with, and remember that they were, in some ways, real interactions with people. Whatever the hell this ending monologue is, I have no idea, but listen. If you got something out of it, I'm glad. I did. Godspeed to all of you as well. See you on the stream.